What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with another video. I received in the mail today a AFA-graded Kenner figure, and I'm kind of embarrassed to say this, but I actually forgot that I had a... so I use a program called Auction Sniper, and it's an app you can get. It's for free. Well, you might have to pay for it now, but I got it like 5 years ago when I first started getting Star Wars figures again. Might have been longer. Might have been like 7 years ago. But anyway, so I've got this program called Auction Sniper where you can like link it to your eBay account, and then, you know, if something's at auction, you can put in like your high bid, and then it'll automatically enter it for you right before the end of the auction. And I'm embarrassed to say, that I was looking at this ATST driver, which I'll go over in a second. I'm embarrassed to say that I had a bid on there, and I thought I deleted the bid before I went to bed, and I fell asleep with my clothes on, which is even more embarrassing. I'm telling you guys everything, man. I don't even care. You guys are like my form of therapy. You're like my therapist. But anyway, I fell asleep. I fell asleep with the auction still live, or the bid still live, and I ended up winning it, believe it or not. And I put in a fairly low bid, which I thought it was anyway. But anyway, I did win it. And it just arrived today, and I thought just because I'm showing it to you that I'd pull out the remaining ATST driver Polish bootlegs that I still have that are not in grading. I'm not joking. I've got at least 7 of them in grading right now, and these two are actually way different than the others. The other ones are articulated. These are non-articulated, first generation from the 1980s. One of them's rare, one of them is not rare, but anyway, I thought it'd be kind of fun to compare and contrast versus the Kenner. And so let's take a closer look at the Kenner first. Here we are. I just got this in the mail literally about 20 minutes ago. You know, it's a standard Kenner ATST driver. It does have the new AFA case, which is awesome. Those pistols are really hard to find. They're so small that they get lost really easily. So as a consequence, just the resale on those pistols goes for, I'd say, 10 to 12 bucks easy. And this is the no COO version, and you can see there, I'm going to point out the emblem right there for now. You can kind of see how it's angled somewhat kind of high on his shoulder. I'll get back to that. That's a hint. And then we can also look to his gloves here. These look to me matte. They look matte, but they're apparently supposed to be more glossy than even the Taiwan version. So those are the gloves, there's the boots, the back of the figure, and so this is the no COO, meaning that the COO on the Taiwan, you can kind of see it, where it did say Taiwan before, but it was rubbed out, so it is a no COO version. And so this is here's the label. 1984 Kenner Star Wars loose action figure, no COO, ATST driver, 85 near mint plus. So there are 3 different Kenner versions of this figure. There is this one, the no COO version. This is basically the Palatoy version that came on the Tri-Logo card. And so it was made over in Europe. There is the Taiwan version, which is the most common version that you see on the standard Kenner cards and elsewhere. I believe they're also on the, correct me if I'm wrong, folks, but I believe on the Power of the Force cards with the collector coin. Those are also the Taiwan versions. And then the hardest one to find is obviously the Lily Letty. These in the same grade would probably set you back $400 to $500 is my guess. I've only seen one for sale over the last year or so. And so that one is the most expensive of the 3. So let's take a closer look at what the differences are. I don't have any of the others, unfortunately. You know, the Taiwan's fairly easy to get, so I'll probably get one of those fairly quick. It's, you know, $50 or $60, which is about what I paid for this. We'll get you the Taiwan version as well. So the no COO version has a darker gray helmet. So the Taiwan version has a lighter gray. That's pretty light to me, but it's even lighter than that apparently. And then the plastic that's used for these figures for the no COO ATST drivers is a lot lighter than the Taiwan plastic for whatever reason. You know, I guess the factories just use a different type of plastic. So that's something, if you're holding 2 in your hand and one of them feels lighter, slightly lighter, that's probably because one of them's a no COO version. The shoulder badge, which I just talked about, we'll take another look at that. That one sits up fairly angled on his shoulder. It's not super angled, but the Taiwan version sits a little bit lower. And then the last point is the gloves. These to me look matte to me. I don't know what they're saying, but according to the website, they're saying that these are the glossy black gloves, whereas the Taiwans have the matte black gloves. I'll have to, when I get the Taiwan version, we'll compare them, because these look matte to me. They don't look glossy. And then the gloves, the boots do look glossy, but I don't know, maybe it's just the lighting, but these look matte to me. So we'll compare those to the Taiwan version whenever I get one. And then the Lily Letty, the only major difference, obviously the paint might be slightly worse just because the Lily, I've said that before, but me personally, I feel like some of the Letty figures have a lot more overspray. They're not quite as, even the 85s, they don't seem to be quite as pristine as some of these others. So, but apparently they're very hard to tell the difference. But on the Letty figures, the arms are assembled. You can kind of see the line going down the middle of that arm there, and that symbol will be perfectly aligned with each half of that arm. So I don't know if that's coming through, but there's like a little line that goes down there during the molding process, and that symbol is kind of molded straight down the middle on that. So, but anyway, the no CEO sits up a little bit higher at an angle. The Taiwan sits a little bit lower on the shoulder, and then the Lily one is split down the middle with it's aligned with the arm. Aligned a little bit better with the arm than this one. This one's kind of sits more up higher on the shoulder. So that's that. And then, so let's take a look at these two non-articulated Polish bootleg AT-ST drivers. Again, these are first generations. They came out in the early 80s. The AT-ST driver has got so many different color variations. Most of them are articulated. They have moving arms and legs. And most of them come in this color for the articulated versions. And they're very inexpensive, the articulated ones. And even these are not very expensive. I can't remember what I paid for this one. But, this has got a lot of rub and everything. But this is non-articulated, very standard color pattern. This is the most common color pattern for both the articulated and the non-articulated. You might have different colored lenses on his visor, but that's about it. But the light gray with the gold trim, you'll see dark gray. I've seen black. There's all kinds of different color variations, but this is the most common color pattern. This one is actually more interesting, though. This is a very rare one. The red, the bright red is pretty rare. And what also makes this one interesting is that this is a totally different kind of plastic. If you do that versus this one's a lot tighter. The plastic is used is a lot tighter. This is almost like a rubber. It's very rubbery. You can kind of see. I don't want to bend it too much because I'm worried about damaging it. But this is a very rubbery figure. And it feels totally different than the gray one. But this is the red unarticulated, and you can see where it used to have. The paint on this just did not stay on there, and I think it's because of the type of rubber it is. But all the paint has worn off the helmet and on the shoulder pads. It looks like it was a grayish, like a grayish color that has just gone really, or excuse me, not gray, a goldish color that has just gone bad. So the visor color is actually held up pretty well, but everything else on it is just gone downhill. But it's a totally different kind of plastic, so my guess is that's probably why the paint hasn't stayed on there. And you can kind of see what the helmet's done. It's already started to crack there, right there. There you go. And right down here. So, this is not in very good condition, but because it was such a rare color, this is only the first red one I've ever seen. And I got it from a Facebook seller who gave it to me for a good price. But anyway, I just thought you'd like to see how much smaller the non-articulated Polish bootleg first gens are way smaller than the, I know this is in a case, but even accounting for the case, these are, if you put it kind of foot for foot, it's still a good, at least an inch shorter, it looks like. So they're a lot smaller, the first gens. I got a first gen surprise figure. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's about the same size as these. So unless you're Chewbacca, you're talking about Chewbacca or something like that, most of these first gens are going to be about this size. So they're a lot smaller. The first and third generation articulated bootlegs, where the arms and legs move, they are more in keeping, as you've seen in my other videos. They're more in keeping with the Kenner sizes. They're 3 3/4 or close to it. But these are dramatically smaller. So I just thought you'd like to see a comparison, since my no COO version. And for those new, no COO means no country of origin. It just means it doesn't have a proper stamp on the back of the leg that says Hong Kong or Taiwan or whatever. Most of them are made in either Mexico or in the pallet toy factories in Europe. So anyway, I just thought you guys would like to take a look at that comparison since I got him in. And thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.